I got a new camera, in case you couldn't tell from the unreasonable clarity on my face. Hi, my name's Echo. Welcome to this glorious 5th installment of my Sketchbook tour video series. Magic, excitement, oh yes. I feel like those are just my catchphrases at this point. Today we're going to be going through this binder. It's the Everything Sucks binder. And it's huge. Most of these are from high school, but they're kind of all over the place, as are most of my art collections. Also, if you can, please stay through to the end because I do have really cool announcements and stuff. Life-changing announcements. Oh, this is scary. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of time, so let's go ahead and dive in. Excitement. So here we have the Everything Sucks binder. I actually drew this picture based on a song called Everything Sucks that I found when I was in high school. I will try to link it in the description if I can find it. Alright, let's begin with the front pocket. With these 3 images, I was actually given this really awesome tracing paper, so I wanted to try and make a multi-layered image, and I was going to put them all together digitally, but I never got around to it. These are 3 character designs for a comic that I was writing when I was in high school. As you can see, all around the edges, I've written various characteristics about them, so it's kind of a character sketch and a character sheet all in one. I drew this one during my Jonan Vasquez obsession phase. I just wanted to draw something that was kind of busy, so I just kind of put a lot of elements into it. In this drawing, I was just kind of trying to develop and reinforce my personal style, and then over here, I was kind of sketching out what I wanted my future hair to look like, and I'm glad that I pretty much succeeded. I actually drew this before I had started dyeing my hair really crazy colors. This one started out as just kind of me trying to figure out how to draw hands, and then it slowly ended up developing into butterfly symbolism. I don't know. I feel like I did a pretty good job with the hand. This one was actually inspired by this quote. I have no idea where I found it, but I just thought it was absolutely beautiful, so I wanted to draw something focused around it. For all sad words of tongue and pen, the saddest are these. It might have been. Next page. This one was just a scribble, and then this one was just me once again trying to practice with a personal style. Boring. It's a comic. Dear Diary. People suck and I hate them all. This is a reflection of how I felt in high school. Pretty straightforward. This one didn't really have any planning or purpose. I was just kind of drawing someone a little bit more magical. Moving on. Here I was trying to practice drawing a character from multiple angles because I always had a really difficult time trying to figure out how to draw a character in different ways that would still look the same. I feel like I'm content with this. And then on this side I was kind of trying to just design clothes. I really hate the sleeves on women's t-shirts. To me they're just one of the most uncomfortable, unflattering things that I've ever seen in women's fashion. So I was kind of trying to take the design of a woman's t-shirt and add to it in a way that I might actually wear it. Next page. For a while I was really into a company called Slave Labor Graphics, and this was actually a book cover inspired by some of the things that they publish. I honestly don't even know if the company is around anymore. And then here we have a Valentine that I made for a friend of mine, because I care. She really liked my art style, so I made her a Valentine. I love it when people put real hearts in Valentines. It makes me happy. And then here we have some more Chewy Bunny drawings. And then taking the basic concept and structure of Chewy, I went ahead and I drew a punk bunny and an emo bunny. At this time, I was kind of obsessed with emo and scene hair and fashion. It was the first decade of the 21st century, okay, leave me alone. For a while I was having these daydreams about a little girl who was lost in a dead city, and she was being protected by a robot, so I decided to go ahead and draw her. It was an adorable story. This was also part of a project for my art class. This one was actually based on a show that a couple of my friends were watching. I think it was called Nip Tuck, but I could be wrong. After hearing them talk about it, I was just kind of inspired to draw something like this. I'm a happy donut with sprinkles. I just really like this face. I found it online, so I wanted to put it on something. I put it on a donut. Swipe. These were 4 drawings that I did for a presentation that I was making on youth subculture groups. We have the jock, the rebel, the prep, and the goth. I was fascinated by youth subculture groups in high school. Next page. Why do I still care? I really love drawing these little characters with either hollow or crossed out eyes, and I really love drawing stitches. On the other side, we have a bunch of silhouetted images that I was making for the school store. We used to be capable of doing key press vinyl, and I wanted to make something to put on a bag that I had. With this one, I had started drawing something, and I believe it just kind of slowly turned into a silhouette. I really do love drawing silhouettes. With this one, I just really like robots and robotics and how they look. Robotics, yeah! I just like how robots look, okay? Someday I'm gonna marry like a nice artificial intelligence, and it's all gonna work out. Here we have some animals crossed with some kind of inanimate objects. This was a little furry creature that I have drawn with shells for horns, and then this is like a half deer, half cactus creature. I was trying to draw without using any foundation line work. It's like a more sketchy style. It's edgy and cool, okay? With this one I wanted to make it look like a massive stone face with roots going into the ground that look like hair. This was yet again a project that I was working on for one of my classes. This is a style I ended up creating where it gives the illusion of having 2 arms, but if you actually look, there's only 1, and I love drawing in that style. And then over here, I'm just pretending I know how to design clothes. Here we have an old scientist trying to cure humanity. Good luck with that, bro. Karate calamari. This was a drawing that I did for a t-shirt competition. I don't think I ever actually entered it. And then here we have one of my favorite drawings that I've ever made. Children lie. I am absolutely in love with the line work of this, and I feel like the body proportions are just fantastic. If I ever made a comic, a serious comic, I would love to make it in this general style. I don't know if you can tell from the eyes, but this is yet again something that is very heavily influenced by Jonan Vasquez. There's just something about the facial proportions that I absolutely love, though. On the other side, we have another drawing that I did for the t-shirt competition that I never ended up entering. Symbolism, roots in the ground, yeah. I really want to make a comic. I really want to make a graphic novel at some point in the future, but one of the things that I struggle a lot with is drawing backgrounds. So with this one, I was just trying to sit down and draw a decent background, just to prove to myself that I could. This was actually a design that I made for the school store. It was actually designed for heat press vinyl. What? Fruit. It's human fuel. A lock and key. These were also just silly designs that I was making for the school store. Awesome magic sauce. With this one, I was kind of trying to silhouette a background. And then over here, this was the design that I ended up going with for my bag. So I actually cut this out of vinyl and then heat pressed it onto a bag that I had. This is the original copy of the I'm Playing with Matches sketch. This one was actually meant to be turned into a t-shirt just like the other ones, and I believe there's actually a photocopy of this in another one of my Sketchbook tour videos. And then over here, this drawing was actually inspired by Candyland. So I wanted to make something in my style that was inspired by Candyland. Also because I had access to some really nice colored pencils. Yeah. These were just some more things that were meant to be cut out of heat press vinyl, and then this is Charles Darwin riding a Galapagos turtle in a sombrero. This was a drawing that I did by request from the academic decathlon team at our school. I believe they were studying Latin American history and evolution. Exciting! This is a vampire drawing because vampires are pretty cool. And then this one was a drawing that I did as a gift for a friend of mine. Teenagers are very interesting in the brain. I'll let you take of that what you will. With this one, a friend of mine was trying to get a tattoo, and he wanted me to do kind of a little bit of a sketch of what he wanted. And then on the other side, I was just kind of practicing body proportions. Fun. More stuff that was influenced by the style of Invader Zim. And then this is a little girl that was actually meant to be in parallel with Jim Bones, which is a character from another one of my Sketchbook tour videos. I wonder if she knows she's dead. And then we move on to the next pages. Yeah! With this one, I was kind of trying to draw a person in a different position because drawing bodies at weird angles is really difficult. And then this is Melvin! Melvin is a character from a comic that I was making when I was in high school. This is a little chibi version of me. Is it chibi or chibi? I think it's chibi. This is a little chibi version of me that I used to draw, kind of inspired by something that my younger sister used to do. So OMG, a kitty cat. Oh, I'm so happy. Hi, Mr. Kitty Cat. Well, fine, I hate you too. People in America will rip you off. I bought a donut the other day and there was a big hole in it. OMG, it's a chair. Early YouTube reference, yeah. I knew how to internet when I was a teenager. I drew this one because I was angry after someone backwashed in my drink. Here's a girl crushing a bug. I don't know if the bug necessarily deserved it, but it happened. Ba-na-na-na. Sexy anime boys. Let's not talk about that one. Another little creepy guy that I absolutely adore. With this one, I just sat down and I wanted to try and draw something in a completely unique style that I had never drawn before or seen anywhere. And I actually like it. I think it came out pretty well. And then here we have some sock puppets and more sock puppets. I was having a very difficult time trying to figure out how to draw sock puppets. Okay, so sue me. And then after that we have some frames from a kind of book that I wanted to make. This was shortly after I had discovered Michael Gagna? I cannot remember how to say his name. He had these fantastic A to Z books, and I decided I wanted to make one myself, but I wanted to make it with emotions and feelings. This is alone. This is broken. This is confused. And then this was either disgusted or dizzy. Yeah, I didn't get very far into the book before I started getting distracted by other things. Look, a happy child. She found a nickel. Like I said before, I love drawing stitches. So I just kind of wanted to draw a fairly dark character. I believe this block of text was actually pulled from a poem that I wrote for a class project. To love a love so pure and fine, to ask a love be only mine. Why? If you want, you can consider it a comment on asexuality. Excitement! See this image? I want you to remember this image. Just have this image in your brain for when we get to the end of the Sketchbook tour video. This is a tattoo design that someone asked me to draw. They wanted something with this guitar and a very specific set of roses that they found online, and then this little creepy bear. I don't know if she ever got the tattoo, but I did draw it for her. I've been having some problems. I think something is wrong with my insides. Weird things keep crawling into my mind. Yesterday, my brain stopped working and I couldn't solve simple math problems. Do you think I've been broken? This was kind of just a therapy thought that I had. Sometimes I kind of like to treat my artwork as a therapy session. And then here I was just kind of trying to reinforce my own style. This one was inspired by a girl from my high school who kept telling everyone that God hated them and that they were all going to hell. She was fun to be around. This was based on a question that someone had asked me online once. Why don't you draw comics? The comics always suck because no one ever dies in them. I kind of want to say that's a reference to Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, but that is a drawing of me. Magic. This is Melvin. Okay, so Melvin, the character that I showed you earlier, who was super crazy, this is him. Melvin was a character that I made who was absolutely insane. So he spends all of his time in a very dark room talking to a hand puppet named Lisa that he believes he's married to. I had one friend who was really scared of really big teeth and giant smiles, and so a lot of my drawings really freaked her out. So I drew her in that style. That's how friendship works. And this one meant nothing, this was just a scribble. Looking back on it, it almost reminds me of Chucky Finster. Here we have two drawings that were just kind of inspired by youth subculture groups in general. I love youth subcultures. It's beautiful. Here we have a crazy old man breathing in some crazy old man gas. If I had to guess what the crazy old man gas does, it probably makes him a crazy old man. These are actually some redrawings from a sketch on the next page. I loved the way that this sketch was drawn. The lines, for some reason, I fell in love with it, so I kept trying to redraw him in that same way, and I could not get it right for the life of me. And then these are just a bunch of random sketches that I've just kind of threw on some pages. Goodbye, my rational thought, goodbye. It's depressing in a sunshine kind of way. A dark sunshine. How in hell did this school end up with a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy teaching Spanish? This is just kind of me lashing out about the social hierarchy that existed in my hometown. There were so many qualified Spanish teachers, yet the head of the church ended up being the Spanish teacher. Next. This was kind of a mini comic that I was doing because I wanted to try doing something with at least a little bit of a background. It's okay. And then for this one, I just wanted to do something that was very busy. And then here we have some trees that a friend asked me to draw. I'm still not very good at drawing trees. This is a drawing of one of my classmates, and then this was a drawing that I did for a girl named Cassie who was dating a guy named Antonio. It didn't work out. High school romance. At a point in high school, I actually changed the way that I was doing my hair, so I decided to make a couple little self-portrait comics. Hello, new friends. My name is Echo. It's nice to meet you, I suppose. Perhaps you would like to speak to me sometime. Or not. Either way, I'll be waiting for you. I guess I should probably tell you something about me. I just don't really know what to say. There's not much to talk about. I feel kind of sick today. This drawing was actually inspired by the movie Coraline, and this is a character that I drew named Poor Polly Porcelain. I rarely go through with my comics, but Poor Polly Porcelain was a comic that I did at least one chapter of. For a while I was playing with the idea of dyeing the bottom part of my hair red with a red stripe going through it, and I was trying to envision what it would look like with 3 different lengths of hair. And then on the other side I was just practicing with cross-hatching and shading. That cross-hatching is so bad. And then here we have the boy in a very strong silhouette. And then here, the prom committee had actually asked me to do a giant backdrop, so I made them this silhouette so that they could cut it out of paper and put it on the wall. Oh, prom was stupid. Feet for people. Feet are really difficult to draw. With this one I was just drawing some really complex and busy looking armor. At a point in high school, I was texting a bunch of random numbers just to see if anyone would reply, and I ended up making a friend named Ted, who was in a band called Hideous Fiends. So being the fun little artist that I am, I drew some designs for him. He was a mystery man, so I drew him as a strange silhouette. And then over here, a couple of my friends were actually in a band called Obstruct the Order, so I did some random drawings and designs for them. I believe this one was actually inspired by My Life as a Teenage Robot. I really love robots. Once again, I just want to burn into you the idea that I love robots a lot. I also really like the word brittle. I just think it's a really pretty word. And then over here, this one was actually a request from one of the girls in my classes. In another sketchbook tour that I did, I showed these 2 images, and these drawings are actually part of that set. This one's just based on a picture that I found online of a really cute guy. Stereotypical teenage girl! And then on the other side, this is just a scribble. With these ones I was kind of trying to draw a more realistic face because I was very bad at drawing real people. Cartoons I could do, but people not so much. And then these are some outfits that were actually inspired by the Renaissance Festival. This one is actually a drawing of a person from my high school named Cyrus. He was one of the few very rebellious teens from my high school, but I really loved his character as a human being, so I decided to try and draw him. And then this was a drawing that was kind of inspired by this drawing. I inspire myself sometimes. I just want to show you this. This drawing actually was made in 2 parts. So I have the upper half of her body and the lower half of her body. And then I actually put these together in Photoshop. With this one, someone suggested that I draw a Grim Reaper, and I never finished it. And then I believe this one was inspired by Romantically Apocalyptic, which is a webcomic I used to read. I need to go back and read it again. I believe I drew this after reading Freaky Fauna, which is a book by Michael Gagna? I'm never gonna be able to say his name, but his work is amazing. Please help them. And then this one was yet again inspired by Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and Squee, which is another comic from the creator of Invader Sim. Exciting. Yeah, learning from people I respect, apparently. And then this is a very short comic that I made a very long time ago. This is the original artwork, and then this is what was colored in Photoshop. I like curved lines, but my life is so jagged. You know, you look so alone. Cool. I'm alone too. Next, I have a mild mental disfiguration. This is yet another chibi me. And then here I was trying to draw myself again. Too cute to be cannibalism. This was a drawing that I did for my graphic design class. We were in charge of developing a logo, and so I made one for a made-up business called Scent Apparel. And then this was actually based on a picture that I found in National Geographic. It was a photograph of an old woman, and it just captured so much emotion that I just felt the need to draw it. And then I believe these 2 images were actually inspired partially by the style of the Boondocks, which is another show that I watched a lot in high school. Yay, Adult Swim! And then we have the pig. Oh, the pig. I will eat you in your sleep. Moving on. And then these 2 drawings I believe I just traced from Neopets. I'm pretty sure that these 2 are actually older than everything else in this binder. And now we move on to the back pocket. This was supposed to be a short comic that I did not finish. So in this comic there were 3 characters, and I believe they were inspired by the anime Strawberry Marshmallow. Super cute anime. Okay, so here's where that image that I asked you to remember comes in. I had a friend in high school who was really into Halloween special effects makeup, and he had kind of developed this character called the Undertaker. So I actually drew the character for him. However, it was too big for his sleeve, so I just put it in the back pocket. Definitely one of my favorite drawings. He was actually a really interesting human being. And then the darkness. This is yet again something that would not fit in one of my sleeves without being cut down any further. I just wanted to do something that was really heavy and dark, and this is what I ended up making. And the very last thing in here is just a very punk drawing. Usually if I put a drawing in the back or front of a binder, it's because they're too big to fit in the protective sleeves. But those are all of the drawings that I have in this binder. Excitement! But there we have it, the Everything Sucks binder. So the next 2 months of my life are going to be insanely busy, and I want to kind of run down a little bit of what's going on. I'm leaving the country. Shocker! And it's not just because of politics. As long as all of my paperwork goes through, I will be getting a master's degree in the United Kingdom starting in September. It hasn't really hit me that I'm moving to another country yet, but when it does, oh, it's gonna hurt. So naturally, since getting a master's degree is a fairly expensive thing to do in life, I have opened an Etsy store. The main purpose of the Etsy store is just so that I can sell higher end prints of the drawings for my sketchbook tourists. So if you want your own little Chewy Bunny print, then you can buy that online now. A huge part of the reason that I've opened it is because I've had a bunch of people ask if they could just commission a drawing of themselves, and also because I'm trying to save money because I'm getting a master's degree in another country. Lots of stuff. It's expensive. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but it is there for now. The last thing that I wanted to do before I end this video is to warn you about the absolute chaos tornado that is about to hit this channel and all of my social media. On July 30th, tomorrow morning, I just need you to come to this channel and a video will be here that will explain what exactly all this chaos is and how you can help me survive it. The other thing is that I will be making and mailing personalized thank you cards to anyone who helps me survive the first week of August. It's gonna be insane. Brace yourselves. It's gonna be death. Oh, I can't wait. This was a really long video and lots of craziness is happening, so I'm gonna give you 350 awesome points. Does that sound good? Subscribe if you want, like this video if you enjoyed all these ridiculous sketchbook tour things, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow morning when the insanity starts. Let's all survive this together. It's gonna be insane! I found coffee, the fuel for my soul.